On YouTube, this is Black Bigot. I'm back again with another podcast with my guest Robert Gunnell. This is another installment of our five-part series on basically which we tell about a fantastic story, a journey, if you will, about his encounters with extraterrestrial beings and craft. So this is in effect part three. This is his third encounter he's had with these alien beings. Quite a fascinating story to say the least. I mean, I can only just give so many words or adjectives to just describe his story. So Robert, what's going on? How are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Just vaping and having a drink and hanging out. It's a good life. Just living life in the moment, and that's how we got to do it.
Live your life in the moment because tomorrow is promised to nobody. I totally agree with you. So, with that being said, go ahead, man. I'll let you have the floor.
All right. Well, thanks. I have the date on this one. It is June 22nd, 2002 at 8:38 in the morning out in East Mesa in Arizona. I was living at 431 North 98th Street in Mesa, Arizona. I believe it was 85207 was the area or the zip code. Not too positive on that zip code, but I know the address for sure. It was a stucco Santa Fe style house. You guys can look it up on Google Maps if you want. My bedroom was on the left side if you're looking from the street, near the second, near the fence on the side of that house. So I wake up and we're talking 8:38 in the morning, broad daylight outside. I don't have any windows in my room. I only have a security door and a bedroom door, and both of which were locked. I'm laying there. I've got my arm on top of a metal tray that looks like a 1 foot by 2 foot baking sheet, almost like a stainless steel or aluminum polished metal tray. My arm's laying on it, and it's literally cut open from my shoulder to my wrist in a straight line all the way down my arm. And then they cut it over at my wrist and at the top of my shoulder. That way all that skin on the outside part of my arm was laying down on this tray. And as I look up from my arm, I can see two hands right next to my arm, one of which is holding a claw with a cutter in the center of it. So it has two claws on the top and a cutter in the center on the bottom. And in the other hand, it's holding a hypodermic needle that is glass on the tube. And it has like the same stainless steel or aluminum polished metal on the sides of it that are like the encasing piece that holds it together. And it has this like a green fluid that's inside of it that it's shooting into the muscle in my arm. And of course I continue to follow those hands, and there's a body and a head, legs, completely naked, alien gray, 5 feet tall, standing at my bedside, looking me square in the eyes, and then looking back at my arm. And it was looking at me, and it gave me this kind of like a nod. It didn't say anything. It just kind of gave me a nod, like okay. And I just laid there and let it do what it was doing. It was working on my arm. I had busted my arm like 5 or 6 days, like the week before that I hurt my arm, because I used to be a really violent person. I used to punch a lot of stuff at this age. And so I had busted my arm pretty good that week before. And as I said in my past interviews, I feel like I've been tagged and they're watching me. They follow up on me. And I think that whatever they did to do that tagging, it's transmitting any kind of distress or pain, or my thoughts, and saying like, oh, my arm's hurt, and so that'll signal. That's my best guess is how this all came down to happen. Because they came here, they were prepared, they knew what they were doing, and they had my arm cut open and they were working on it. And I could see it literally cutting into the tendons, into the muscle in my right arm, and injecting me more with this green fluid from the syringe. And as it was doing that, I could see my muscles that were cut were being fused back together. The tendons of my arms were being fused back together like they had never been sliced in half to begin with. And then I watched it pull my skin back up onto my arm, and it held it there for a second, and it started to inject this fluid some more down where the cut lines were at. And I literally watched the skin come back together, almost like it was healing at a rapid rate, to the point where there's no scar. I don't have any marks from where it happened, but I fondly remember exactly where the cuts were. I can follow them directly up my arm. And so anyway, at this point I'm realizing that either these are different, or all along, the Greys were there to check me out and to take care of me, or to I don't know if it's like a grandfathering, or if they're kind of keeping me paced through life, or making sure that things are going correctly. But at this point, it hit me in my head okay, they're here to help me. They're not; these ones are not here to hurt me, because I hurt my arm. Not like the one where my second official encounter, the one with the spikes on its head. That seemed like that one was really there to kill me. Anyway, so it wraps it up, gets my arm sealed back up. I'm watching it inject more of this fluid until everything is all nice and sealed, like it never even occurred. And then it collects all of its materials onto this tray, and it literally walks over away from the bed, just a couple of feet over from where I was laying, and I see it blast into this blue, a bluish green electrical light, just kind of zapped, and went from my floor straight to my ceiling, and it just shot straight through the roof. And I just watched this alien literally dematerialize right up through my ceiling, like it was just, I don't know how to explain this. It was like a burst of light and a flash all at once, just like this poof, and it went up and straight through the ceiling. And it took everything with it that it had, and at that point I was able to move. The whole time, I could turn my head and I could look around a little bit, but mostly it was just my eyes that I could actually move. But I couldn't move any of the rest of my body, for the most part, I couldn't even move anything. I couldn't move my arms, my legs. I was completely still, like the first two times that I had interactions with these beings. They put you in a paralysis. It almost feels like the air is grabbing your body and holding it in place. But that's what it had me, under its power or control. It was keeping me down so that way I wouldn't move while it was operating on me. And it disappeared, went straight through the ceiling, and at that point I was able to move, and I jumped up out of my bed, and first thing I did is I ran directly down the hall, because I looked up at the clock. It said 8:38 in the morning. I'm sorry, I looked at the clock. Here's what happened. I looked at my clock. It said 8:38, right? And from all my past experiences, I'm thinking, okay, it's 8:38 at night, So I run out my door, and I'm like, okay, let's go find somebody. And as I'm going down my hall, I could either go left to my mom's room, or I could go right to a center room in this house, and then that will connect you to a bathroom adjacent, bedroom adjacent area, and then another front dining room, and then that'll take you into the kitchen. So it all kind of connects out in the spiral in a way. So I get all the way up to that front room, and I realize that it's daylight outside. And that's what it hit me, is it doesn't matter anymore at this point. It really doesn't matter when I'm awake or when I'm asleep. If I sleep during the day and try to stay up at night to avoid interactions, it doesn't matter. They'll come and they'll get me. They'll have contact with me, or they'll do something. And then I continued to search around the house trying to find somebody. Nobody was home. And I wasn't scared. I was in this kind of state of shock, but happiness. Like, I wanted to tell somebody so bad. And I waited, for a while until, like, my mom came home, my brothers. We were staying out in this house in Mesa, and all I wanted to do was tell them what just happened. I was like, you won't believe this. It was working on my arm. It fixed it. Like, my arm doesn't hurt anymore. And that's all I really have to say about it. I mean, it was so intense, having an actual surgery done on me by somebody other than a human, and I wasn't even in a hospital. I was in my own house. So
okay, so let's go back to the original injury. So you got mad. You were a young kid. A lot of kids, they're not really in control of their emotions. They're emotionally immature, especially boys. So you punched the wall. You punched something. Did you break your arm? Did you break your hand? What kind of injury did you sustain when you punched the inanimate object that you put your aggressions towards?
Well, what I had done is I had torn some tendons in my arm, or ligaments and tendons. I didn't break it, but I hit hard enough to do some major tearing, and I figured, like a sprain, I would, just walk it out, basically. But I didn't really go to seek any kind of official medical help. I had called the hospital and asked them, and they said, oh, it's probably just a sprain or whatever, a small tear. Just don't use that arm. Well, it progressively got worse throughout the next several days, leading up to that encounter, and I was just in tremendous pain. Like, it was getting worse and worse and worse. I wasn't really technically taking the advice of those medical professionals that said, hey, don't do anything with your arm, don't punch anything anymore, don't try to lift anything. So I kind of heeded that information, and at the very last moment when it was too late, and made it worse. So I ended up tearing up my tendons and ligaments, and this alien was there in my room fixing me like a doctor, taking care of my arm and getting me all stitched back up with this liquid, and everything was good to go. And then it just took off. It bounced. It was gone.
So, unlike your last encounter, the second encounter where you felt literally this alien with spikes coming out of his head, you felt that this being was there to kill you. This time, you felt that this being was there to perhaps help you or not harm you, at least.
Right. Like, at first I was scared because I thought, okay, my last encounter that I thought that they were going to kill me. So when I saw another one, I was thinking, oh, great, I'm in such deep shit now. Like, sorry about the language, but
No, I love cuss words. No, you can cuss as much as you want. I love cuss words. They're great.
So I was like, I'm in such deep shit now. Last time they were trying to make my head explode, and of course it was a different alien that time with the spikes when I was 12. But this time around when I'm 18, this thing has got my arm cut open. So, the first thing I'm thinking is, I'm being dissected. I'm waking up to, like, thinking that this thing is, I'm waking up to just the beginning of it. Like, what else is it going to handle? What else am I going to see the inside of,
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit. And I can't move. And at first, I'm just kind of sitting there in bed like, what the fuck is going on?
So you're thinking that literally it's going to dissect you while you're still alive, and you're just like, oh well, I guess this is what's going to happen. But then you come to realize that that's not what's going to happen.
Right. Like, I couldn't move, and I'm like, oh no, we're in for a shit show. Like, this is gonna get bad. I'm awake. I can't move. But I could only feel slight pressure when it was cutting and working on me. So whatever it was using, it was fine. Like, I could feel a little bit of pressure, but I didn't feel anything like any slicing or cutting. Directly. Like, I could feel the pressure when it was happening, but I was I was thinking to myself, okay, well, if it was really going to like dissect me and it wanted to make me like suffer, there wouldn't be any kind of anesthetic or whatever present.
No, yeah, no, it
Just,
would
like,
be.
pin me down and hack me open.
Yeah, correct. I want to ask you. So, when you're looking at your arm basically being filleted open, I don't know if you've looked at like surgery videos, because I'm kind of interested in stuff like that. So sometimes I do look at the autopsy videos of students just practicing, medical procedures and stuff like that. Did this appear to be what they were doing to your arm? Would it appear that that's how doctors would do to your arm, like how the aliens were doing it to you? Like what like did they like basically what I'm trying to say is no doctor would would be able to do to your arm what they did in terms of just the
No.
because where we make like small incisions and we try to minimize scarring. This creature, this gray, just basically had your arm inside out, it sounds like.
Yeah, like the entire. Okay, so like if you were looking at your wrist, the top side of your hand, not the palm side, but the top side, it was literally there was a cut from one wrist bone to the other, like that straight line across.
Correct.
And then it followed that the wrist bone that was where my thumb would be. It followed that directly up the middle of my arm, right through the ditch of my arm, straight up the middle of my upper arm to my shoulder, and then right where the shoulder comes together at the joint, it was cut back over toward my back side, just like my wrist was cut toward the back side of my arm. And then it was literally, the skin was just attached from the back side of my shoulder, where my shoulder blade comes together, down to my elbow, and then down to the other side of my wrist. To the outside of it. So I can literally see the inside of the flesh. There was little fat, like, I think they're called corpuscles or whatever, the little beads of fat, little tiny ones. And that was on the inside of that skin. And then on my arm itself, I could see some blood, the tendons. I could see muscle structure and the ligaments that were running through it. And it was all like kind of woven together, like it looked like it had like a grain to it, like it all followed the same direction. And I remember it was just like red and gray and some yellow colors to the inside of my arm is what I remember seeing. And then I could also see some of the arteries, like the main arteries that are underneath like the inside of the ditch of my arm. Like where your elbow bends. I could see some of those veins or arteries that are running through there. I could see the ones that were running up the inside of my, the top part of my arm that were the closest. So it was intriguing, when I realized that I wasn't there to like be murdered by some alien nut job. It turned out to be, it was like an alien doctor there to help me and fix me up. And then I chilled out and I was just kind of going with it. And that's, when it kept looking back at me and it was like nod, like everything was fine. You're doing all right. And then it took off after that. Once it sealed me up and it was done. But my arms never felt better, since that day. Granted, I've punched a few things, slightly after that, but I used to joke with my brothers and say, now I've got the power on,
You're kind of like He-Man. You got the power, and then you can just tell them, hey, listen, you just better back up before I send you to another dimension with my alien ebonic, my bionic alien arm. When this being was like dissecting your arm, did you try to ask him like, what the hell are you doing?
I tried to speak. And I was trying to communicate, or at least think, but the only thing that I could do was look and think to myself what was going on. And it was just, I don't know, it was like a mental confirmation, you know, like, kind of like when you have a brother or sister or family member that you're so used to speaking to without actually speaking, like you get that, like that nod or that look of approval or disapproval. That's what this alien was doing to me, is kind of giving me that approval look, like, yeah, you're cool, you know, don't worry about it, it's fine, everything's chill, you don't have to worry about it. So I felt that presence in the room. You know, once that fear died down and I realized that, you know, I wasn't going to be getting killed, that it was there to help, that's when it really came over me. Like, I got this feeling of, like, peace. This really peaceful feeling that came over me, just like, oh, we'll go for it, you know? Just looking down at my arm, like, okay, you know, let's do this. And I don't know, it was such a cool experience. And then the fact, you know, that it happened in broad daylight, so, like, part of me was like, okay, well, now these things are telling me, you know, in my head that everything's fine, you know, there's no problems, there's no qualms, no hatred or anything like that. We're here to help you. And then it also tells me that it doesn't matter if it's nighttime or daytime, that, you know, if something needs to happen, they're going to intervene at any time. It won't be at, you know, 2 in the morning. It could be at 10 in the morning or, you know, 4 in the afternoon. So, or in this case, 8:38 in the morning on June 22nd of 2002, Saturday. So it was a weekend.
When you were when everything was done and you realized what took place, who was the first person that you told? Like, hey, this is what happened.
First person I told was my mom. She wrote it off as kind of like, I don't know. It was weird. It wasn't like the other times I told her. Like the other times I told her, she was always just kind of like, whatever, your imagination. This time she kind of played it off more like maybe I took something or maybe I was on something. Because, you know, this college culture, you know, I was getting out of I had already been out of high school for 2 years. I was already going to college at 16. So, I mean, she kind of like gave me that look like, whatever. And then, so I waited till my brothers got home, and I remember telling them, and my brother Forrest and my brother Carl were just like blown away. Like, really? You're kidding me? Like, it wasn't at night. It was the middle of the day, and of course I ran them through everything I just told you, and they were really taken back, like, wow, well, I guess you have something to look forward to, kind of, you know, like that was their overall consensus on that. I was like, well, I guess you got something to look forward to now. You got some new friends, you know, like a joke, like, oh, they're gonna come and visit you again if you ever get hurt, you know, look forward to doing this and this and this, you know. Instead of going to the doctor, just hang out at home, like as a joke. I'm like, whoa.
Right.
If I break my leg or get in a car accident, you know, it's not going to happen that way. So.
Right.
But
we're going to conclude the video podcast there. Guys, we got another story coming for you, and this, and again, he's told me these stories already. He's told me what's happened to him. This one is probably the wildest, in my opinion, that he's told me. And then also after that, we'll also get like more in depth on some type of a philosophical conversation about what's what, who do you believe. So stay tuned to that. Anyways, again, guys, the link to Robert Gunnell's channel will be in the description box on this video below. Feel free to hit up his channel. You want to tell people out there what your YouTube channel is about?
Yeah, so it's on YouTube. It's Nedragun, all one word, NEDRAGUNN. Basically, it's about, you know, UFOs, but it's also about kind of everything else. My direction's always been UFOs and gaming and political sciences. So I tend to try to have fun while enjoying the technology and the politics. You know, and then everything that kind of fills in between, you know. Family and friends. Sometimes I'll put some good stuff up there, like I did a science project with my daughter recently. And, you know, so I try to put up as much as I possibly can to really bring it all together. Sometimes I'll even get online and play music. I'll play a synthesizer or my guitars or do some live performances, promote bands or shows or my band, or we'll do whatever we do. So, but yeah, we put all that content up there, and it's gradually building. And I've seen a lot of followers start jumping in, and so we between the two of us, we have a slowly but surely growing community of great followers and great people out there. People that want to disclose too about aliens and UFOs. If you have your own experiences, feel free to get to me as well. And we'll collect everything that we can. We'll put as many interviews as we can out there. So, pushing for disclosure. So keep moving onward and upward.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very good. Okay, that concludes another series in this interesting story Mr. Gunnell is telling us. Part 5 will be out very, very soon, guys. I'm gonna think about how to present that. But anyways, in the meantime, I'm Black Bigot. This is Robert Gunnell. Please subscribe to his YouTube channel, Nedra Gun. It's in, how do you spell it? Nedragunn. Nedra Gun.
Yeah. It's Arden backwards, like Elizabeth Arden. Arden, but it's Nedra.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the link to his channel will be in the description box, so you guys go check out his channel. So in the meantime, part 5 will be out very soon, guys. You need to check out the last one, because that, in my opinion, is that can go on into like a 3-hour podcast, to say the least. So anyways, I'm Black Bigot. I'm with Robert Gunnell. The links to the previous videos will be in the description box below. His YouTube channel will be in the description box below. You guys take it easy, and peace out.